Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another Pokemon TCG video. Today we're going to take a look at an interesting deck filled with nothing but Psychic Pokémon, and I'm not really sure how competitive this deck will be, but it's a lot of fun, and hey, let's at least give it a shot. So this is going to revolve around the spooky Pokemon Gourgeist. It's the pumpkin Pokemon. Yeah, it's a creepy looking pumpkin, but anyway, it has two pretty cool attacks. The first one is Eerie Voice. For one psychic energy, you put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. That's the one we're probably going to be using the most. We want to spread damage out as much as we can. Just get a bunch of damage out there. And then the second attack is Spirit Scream. Put damage counters on both active Pokemon until the remaining HP of each Pokemon is 10. So say we're going up against a big Pokemon EX with 180 HP, we can just use Spirit Scream and bring it down to 10 HP. And we also go down to 10 HP as well, but we only give up 1 prize, so that's a nice little trade-off we have going there. Now, there are a couple things we're going to be running to take advantage of Gourgeist's attacks. The first pretty simple combo is with Spirit Scream and then Hypnotoxic Laser. So if you poison your opponent's Pokemon and then use Spirit Scream, they go down to 10 HP after the Spirit Scream attack, and then the poison from Hypnotoxic Laser finishes them off in between turns. So you basically get an instant knockout on Pokemon through Spirit Scream and Hypnotoxic Laser. That's a pretty cool thing. Unfortunately, this doesn't really work very well all of the time. That's a very inefficient attack, takes 2 energy attachments to use, and you're going to be running out of Gourgeist very quickly trying to do that. So most of the time we are just going to use Eerie Voice, but we do have that option to use Spirit Scream if there's a big pesky Pokemon we need to get rid of. Alright, so after we've spread out a lot of damage, we're going to be trying to slow down the opponent using Garbodor. Of course, Garbotoxin takes away all abilities in play when Garbodor has a tool attached to it. So this is just kind of to slow down those decks that really rely on abilities, those Blastoise, those Emboar decks. And also it shuts off Virizion EX's Verdant Wind so that we can use Hypnotoxic Laser to poison Pokemon. So Garbotoxin's pretty cool. And then our last Pokemon for the deck is actually going to be Meowstic. Now I gotta say, Meowstic is a fun Pokemon to say, but it does have a pretty cool attack as well, Ear Influence. Basically, this attack is Dusknoir's Sinister Hand ability in the form of an attack. So we get to just rearrange all the damage on our opponent's Pokemon. Now, this is obviously much less efficient than Dusknoir's Sinister Hand, but first of all, it's a stage 1, and second of all, we can't use abilities when we have Garbotoxin going. So that's the reasoning behind the Meowstic instead of the Dusknoir. So after we spread enough damage, we just use Ear Influence to place the damage in the correct spots and really just kind of take away all of our opponent's threats in one big move. It seems like it wouldn't work, but somehow it ends up working pretty well sometimes. And I can't really explain it, but it's definitely fun to use at the very least. So we have a 4-4 line of Gourgeist, and then just 2-2 lines of the Garbodor and Meowstic. And then we have 1 Sigilyph in here as well. Sometimes this deck can be a little slow to set up or can draw some bad hands here and there. So we want a nice safeguard Pokemon to push up in the active spot to buy us some times. Obviously this doesn't work when you have Garbodor and Garbotoxin going. So this is just used in the beginning stages of games to kind of slow down those Pokemon EX and give you a little breathing room to set up. Our supporter cards, we have 4N, 4 Professor Juniper, 3 Skyla, 3 Colress, for a total of 14 draw or search supporters, and then 1 Lysander, just to kind of bring something up active that we would like to take care of. And then our ace spec for the deck is going to be Dowsing Machine. Discard 2 cards, get back a trainer card. This just allows us to recycle any of these trainer cards that we might want to be using. For our other cards in here, we do have the Hypnotoxic Laser we looked at already. We're going to combine that with Verbank City Gym to just get some additional damage out onto the field. This will make it do 3 damage counters instead of the usual 1 every turn. We need some tools for Garbodor, so we first have 3 Float Stone. Just very standard with the Garbodor to give it a free retreat cost. And then also we have 2 Rocky Helmet. This is not a card we see very often, but it's another one that actually works pretty decently with Gourgeist. Not only will this generate more damage on our opponent's field, but after we use a Spirit Scream, if our opponent wants to attack into us, well, Rocky Helmet takes them down. Because they'll take 2 damage counters if they do damage to the active Pokemon that has a Rocky Helmet attached. Of course, there are all sorts of ways to get past Rocky Helmet, but it's kind of a fun card to include here, especially after a Spirit Scream. Our other cards in the deck, we have 2 Level Ball, and then 3 Ultra Ball just to search out our Pokemon. Couple switching cards, 1 Switch, 1 Escape Rope, a Professor's Letter just to search for our basic energy, and then a Super Rod, shuffle in 3 Pokemon or basic energy back into the deck, just to make sure we have enough stuff to work with. And to round it all out, we have 8 Psychic Energy. Gotta use this beautiful Espeon one, though. The other ones just aren't the same. Just kidding, you can use whatever energy you want. Alright, so here is our Gourgeist deck. Again, I am not quite sure how competitive this deck is, but I have managed to beat quite a few decks with this particular deck, so I never really know what's going to be playable and what won't. But hey, let's go ahead and look at our Gourgeist Garbodor Meowstic deck in action. And go figure, we got paired up against Pokepop, one of the game's most veteran judges. He's been Masters, well, not just Masters, head judge at all sorts of big tournaments. He's the head of Team Compendium, or I'm not sure if that exists anymore, but he was basically the one who, and he still is, the one who confirms all of the rulings for the game. So if there's ever a ruling question, he has the answer, and he actually is the one who comes up with the official answers a lot of the time. So, very well-known person in the Pokemon TCG community. Looks like he's piloting a nice Aromatisse deck, and I have a Pumpkaboo staring down, an Yveltal EX, a Xerneas EX, and a Spritzy. Okay. So, I have a Chorus, which won't really draw me many cards. I have a Lysander, that's not a draw card. And I have 2 Ends. So I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball for a Trubbish, and it looks like my opponent had a very bad hand, but mine is no better. So I'm going to have to play my N right here. He said this this might go quick because he had a bad start, but little does he know, mine was not great either, and I had to play that N. So hey, let's have a fun game. Why not? So I'm just going to go ahead and say maybe not. We'll have a game now since I gave you a nice hand of 6 cards. You are welcome. Alright, so now we see a Getsis. What? No! Oh, man. Okay, well, I had a Dowsing Machine. I was going to save that. I was going to see if I top-decked a supporter, and then if I didn't, I was going to Dowsing Machine for an N, or a Chorus, or whatever I had in there. But now I have absolutely nothing. Okay, beautiful. Alright, well, I did draw Psychic Energy, so I'm just going to throw down the Gourgeist, and then Eerie Voice, put 2 damage counters on all of his Pokemon, and this is not going to be pretty. We do have Sigilyph, which could perhaps buy some time, but for now, we're just going to get Evil Balled for 160 damage, and this is not how I envision this game going. Alright, so we are in full-on top deck mode at this point. Thankfully, we do have this Sigilyph here. I do have this Psychic Energy that I could attach, but I'm actually going to stockpile cards in my hand at this point, because if I draw a Dowsing Machine, I want to be able to play it so that I can draw a fresh hand with an N or something like that, whatever is in my discard pile. We need 2 cards to discard for Dowsing Machine, and the energy attachment isn't too relevant, so we're just going to hold on to the energy for now. Another Getsis there goes for 0, since the only card I have is a Psychic Energy. No item cards to shuffle in this time. And we see Spritzy coming out. What's going to happen here? Uh-oh. we're going to see a sweet scent. What in the world is going on in this game? We just saw a Spritzy heal 20 damage from the Yveltal EX on the bench, and I can't do anything about it. Spritzy is just going to keep healing with sweet scent. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen a situation like this before in a game. And we see another sweet scent. That's going to remove 20 off of the Xerneas EX this time. And I'm going to go ahead with a Skyla. Finally, we top-decked a supporter. Going to go ahead and search for a Chorus so I can actually draw some cards. And we'll attach to the Pumpkaboo now and pass the turn. So here we go. Maybe we can start to get something going here. I'm not really sure what, but I'm going to do my best. There we have a Lysander. No, my Pumpkaboo. Okay, well, this is just going downhill very quickly. 2 Pumpkaboo in the discard pile along with a Gourgeist and 2 Psychic Energy. And we have a total of 40 damage on my opponent's field. Not what I was really looking to do right here. Not the ideal situation by any means. Alright, so I'm going to level ball here for another Pumpkaboo. We'll at least get that into play. We'll get the energy onto it. I do have Garbodor. I could put that into play, but I don't want to do that because Sigilyph needs to buy me some time with its beautiful safeguard ability. If I put out Garbodor, Garbotox would activate. Yveltal EX would be able to attack the Sigilyph, and I just don't want that to happen. So we're just going to pass the turn and hope that he doesn't have any non-EX attackers to hit me with. And it looks like that's the case once again as Spritzy uses Sweet Scent once again. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so now I have the dowsing machine once again. I'm probably going to go ahead and use it. But what am I going to use, or what am I going to discard? That's the question here. Escape Rope is a nice card that I would hope to save, especially since Sigilyph is kind of stuck there right now. Verbank City Gym could be nice. Garbodor could be nice. I'm actually going to save the Verbank in this situation because getting rid of Fairy Garden could actually be very relevant later on. The Escape Rope's not going to be too useful. Perhaps I can always get the second Garbodor out of my deck. I don't need that immediately. So we're going to go ahead and just discard the Garbodor and then the Escape Rope. We'll save the Verbank and see if that pays off. Now here I have my Super Rod. It's going to be a difficult decision on what to shuffle in right here. My opponent has 4 prizes left, and let's see. I'm basically trying to think how many Gourgeist can I actually use this game, and it's probably going to be 3 more, so shuffling in more than that is not going to be too smart. I'd rather just get some energy back into the deck to make sure I don't run out of energy. And so I'll go ahead and attach to the Esper, and then pass the turn. My thinking is I can use 3 Gourgeist and then a Meowstic, and then that's how the game's going to go. I'm never going to use 4 Gourgeist, I don't think, so no point in shuffling that last line back in. I don't know, maybe it was worth it, but I would rather just make sure I get energy attachments as often as possible at this point in the game. Okay, so will Sigilyph actually get knocked out finally? That's the question here. I don't know the answer to that question quite yet, but let's find out. And no, we just see another Sweet Scent. My goodness, this is annoying. I can't... I don't know what to do here. I'm going to go with a level ball. We'll go ahead and search for the Pumpkaboo just to get another one of those into play. We have the Gourgeist in hand. And I can drop a Float Stone on the Sigilyph to retreat it for free into the Gourgeist. Let's drop a Rocky Helmet as well. Put an energy on the bench Pumpkaboo and go with the Eerie Voice. This way my opponent has to pay an energy to retreat the Spritzy since the Fairy Garden is gone. And oh no, looks like he was just holding on to that startling Megaphone. So goodbye Float Stones and Rocky Helmet. Oh, what a bummer. Alright, now this game is just looking miserable. I have no clue how I'm supposed to win at this point. This seems basically hopeless at this point. I really don't know what to do. I may have to stall another turn with Sigilif, or we may just have to Eerie Voice, hope for the best. I mean, my goodness, we're being overrun by Yveltal EX. All the damage from my first from my first Eerie Voice was removed from a Spritzee. And heck, let's just do whatever we can. I'm going to get the Gourgeist into play. I do have an N, and I'm going to need to draw some pretty darn good stuff, I think. I have a Psychic Energy. It's tempting to want to Spirit Scream here, but I may be better off going for an Eerie Voice. I'm not really sure. In a deck with Max Potion like this one will be, I really don't think it's a great idea to be using Spirit Scream, since all it takes is the Aromatisse and then a Max Potion, and then all of my work is undone. And then I've basically knocked myself out. So let's just go with the Eerie Voice. This way the damage is more dispersed. So if we do see a Max Potion, it's not going to matter quite as much. Alright, so Spirit Scream. We've now built up a pretty healthy amount of damage on the board, honestly. So we did 100 with the first Eerie Voice, 120 with the second, and then there's an extra 30 on the active Yveltal EX from the Hypnotoxic Laser. There's an extra 10 on the bench on the Xerneas from the Rainbow Energy, so that's actually a lot of damage being built up right here. And I don't know, if we give it enough time, perhaps we can use Ear Influence to get this party going with Meowstic. Alright, so another Evil Ball is going to take down the Gourgeist. I do have an N here, and we're going to hope for Meowstic this turn, so we can try to get something going with an Ear Influence, but looks like that was a big fail. And looks like Meowstic's not coming to the party, man. What is going on here? So now I have to decide what I want to do. I have this Garbodor with 100 HP, and I just end my opponent down to 2 cards. Now, Yveltal EX will not knock out Garbodor even with another energy. The Xerneas EX on the bench would, but my opponent would need to draw an energy and then also burn the 2 to retreat. And that's a situation I am probably okay with. So I'm going to leave Garbodor active and just hope that it doesn't get knocked out. It's the only thing that could potentially survive. Everything on my bench has 60 HP left, and that just goes down immediately to an Yveltal EX. We do see another energy go on to the active Yveltal EX, so we may see a Y-Cyclone, but no, just a retreat from that Yveltal EX. And looks like we're just going to get hit by a Breakthrough, unless we see a Startling Megaphone number 2, but no, just the Breakthrough hitting for 60, and then something's going to get hit for 30 damage right here. But this is actually a pretty big win in my book. I survived a turn. That's important. And alright, we're going to go with the Hypnotoxic Laser, poisoning that Xerneas EX, and then the Juniper. Finally, we have Meowstic in play. So things could certainly be turning around right now. Let's see how much damage we have out there. We have 130 there, 40 there, 40 there, 40 there, 30 there, 40 on the active. That adds up to a big number that I'm not quite sure of right now. But the idea I'm going for here is I could actually knock out the Yveltal EX and the Xerneas EX in one fell swoop right here. And if I do that, boy, that's taken out almost all of my opponent's energy and all of the big attackers on the field. But here we have to use the most nerve-wracking attack on Pokemon TCG Online, Ear Influence. Right, so we have to click on a Pokemon, click OK to confirm, and then click to where we want to move it. Now, if at any point I were to misclick and click OK too soon, like I click OK before clicking on a Pokemon, my attack would end and I would basically lose the game. So this is extremely nerve-wracking. One bad click and I will lose this game, and that's not cool. Alright, so we need to make sure we have 140 on the active, which is what I'm doing, and then the 30 from Verbank and Poison will finish off the Xerneas EX, and then we're going to knock out the benched Yveltal EX as well. And just like this, out of nowhere, we're going to get a 4-prize turn with Meowstic. Go figure. And yes, looks like we are all good with the damage placement. Yveltal EX gets knocked out. Xerneas EX gets knocked out. And all of a sudden, we are tied 2-2 in prizes. Who would have thought that would happen? Not me, that's for sure. I thought this game was basically over with. And now we have a chance. And I have no idea how. That's just, hey, I mean, a couple of eerie voices and then a hypnotoxic laser here or there. And you never know what exactly can happen in these wacky games. I really don't know what to expect next. My opponent hasn't really played any real supporters, just a lot of Getsis and Shauna and Lysander. That's the only thing. We see a Dowsing Machine going for a Getsis. And I only had one item in hand. Kind of a risky move, but he probably thought, wow, you have so many cards, there's got to be a lot of items in there. But as you see, it's just a bunch of energy supporters and then a Trubbish. And he says, really? Not believing what he saw there. Was obviously hoping for more than just the, just the Ultra Ball. Wow. Gets this on a 9-card hand, ends up with 1 card. Alright, so now it's our time to try to do something here. I'm probably going to have to retreat and use Eerie Voice once again. Spirit Scream may not be the best option. I'm not really sure how I want to go about this. We do see the Fairy Garden in play. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead with a Skyla right here. And I'm going to grab Rocky Helmet. There's a Hypnotoxic Laser, but I'm going to hold on to that in case an EX comes out so I can Spirit Scream that and get the final knockout that way. But yeah, we have almost run out of attackers at this point, so that's not good. I'm going to go ahead and retreat, attach to the Meowstic again, and Eerie Voice. Put another 80 damage into play. Oh no, he top decks a Shauna with a 0-card hand. Alright, let's see. Will he draw anything worthwhile with this Shauna right here? Oh man, if we see a Muscle Band on the Virizion EX along with a Rainbow or a Prism Energy, that could be big. That could end up winning the game for my opponent. Knocking out this Gourgeist, going down to 1 prize. I don't think I'd really have anything to respond from there. Oh man, let's see. We see an Ultra Ball, I think. Let's see what that's going to go for. A Xerneas EX. Alrighty. And are we going to see anything else after that? No, just a Geomancy. Alright, so we get another turn here to use Eerie Voice, and that one more Eerie Voice may be exactly what I need to close out this game. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. I have an Ultra Ball. We could just play that to thin out some cards there. I'm going to go ahead and attach an energy. This might seem weird, but I'm going to attach my energy to Garbodor. My thinking being, if my opponent has a Megaphone and a Lysander to bring out the Garbodor, I need to be able to actually retreat it. I'm out of Float Stones, I'm out of switching cards, so I actually want to start putting energy on Garbodor just in case I need to retreat it. If I really want to, I can Sludge Toss. I have never done that in my life. But, hey, we run Psychic Energy, so maybe. Who knows? Alright, so Virizion EX does come out now. We see a lot of energy on it. Aromatisse cannot move the energy around because Garbodor's Garbotoxin is shutting that down. We do see a Max Potion healing 50 off of the Aromatisse on the bench. And that would, let's see, if I move 1, actually, no, we can win here now. We can win here with a couple different ways, especially now with this Rocky Helmet damage. First of all, we could just retreat and Ear Influence for the win, but since that's going to take 10 minutes to do, I'm going to go ahead and play that Hypnotoxic Laser, attach the second energy, and Spirit Scream, goodbye, Virizion EX, and Gourgeist, Meowstic, Garbodor. I have no idea how this deck ever wins, but it actually does have a very good record when I play it for some reason. I have no idea why. Just Eerie Voice and Spirit Scream are somehow enough to win games. Ear Influence is pretty darn good too. That just shows you how good Dusknoir's Sinister Hand is when I can actually take a turn to attack with Meowstic and still have it be good. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I will see you guys next time.